On Sunday, I got confirmed. Confirmation is just when a baptized person affirms their self to the Christian faith. Now, I got christened when I was a kid, but I didn't grow up in a religious home, and I think my mum and dad just done it because it was the right thing to do, or everyone was doing it. But over the last few years, I started finding myself gravitating towards God. Now, even that sounds mad, because if you asked me 5 years ago, is there a God, or do you believe in Jesus, or anything like that, I would have laughed in your face, said, what a load of fucking bullshit. And I thought it was weird, if I'm honest with you. But then I started building a connection with God for a couple of years, and I was praying morning and night, but I didn't really know what that God was, or who that God is. But over the last year, something was edging, guiding me and pushing me towards Christianity. And at first I was, very hesitant to, but I became very open-minded and decided to explore it. Now, everything that I'm going to show you today is everything that helped me build my own faith up and move towards Christianity. And it's even mad me saying this, because as I said, at one point in my life, I thought all of this was total bullshit. But over the last year, my faith strengthened and I turned into a Christian. And I'm going to show you exactly what helped me get there. Now, as I mentioned, I was very skeptical. I never believed in God, in Jesus, in Christianity, in religion. I just didn't even have no conscious awareness to it, or even bat an eyelid. Or I was actually quite embarrassed when I heard people talking about it. My girlfriend, she always used to say, pray to God, ask God for guidance. And she would also always say that she's asking God for guidance. And I always used to look at her, especially if she started saying this in front of, my family or friends, like, what the fuck is she going on about? But over the last couple of years, I started praying to a God. And then I really started guiding myself towards Christianity, or something was guiding me towards Christianity. And then I went to a wedding and I met this guy. We didn't talk about it at the wedding, but after, I followed him. And when I started looking at his own content, he went on his own journey towards faith, and he was posting about Jesus and all these types of things. So I had an open mind and I started to explore. Dropped him a few messages, and then he just started sending me over loads of different things to start looking into, because I'm a very logical thinker. So me just thinking and taking this thing for truth is something that I'm not going to do. I needed to find answers. And as he started to send more things over to me, all of the answers and all of the data started to collect, which further started to build my faith. Now, the first thing that I started diving into was the New Testament. Now, the New Testament for me to begin with was a struggle, because it wasn't like anything that I've read or studied. But I went through the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And basically, these are just written accounts from his disciples that was with him that showed Jesus' life and his teachings and what he done, what he stood for, and what he practiced. And it took me a long time to really understand these, but I just had faith, and I kept going over and over and over and over them to really learn about Jesus and the Christian way. Now, it was clicking for me, but not really. There was a lot of, unanswered questions, and it was like, is this true? Can I believe this? I'm not quite sure. But what helped me off the back of this was, as I was reading them, I started to watch a series called The Chosen on Amazon. And it's basically a series based on Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels. And it was the first time I ever felt emotionally connected to a TV character and a series, because everything that I was reading started to become true for me. And it made what I was reading tangibly make sense. Now, that sounds crazy, looking at someone on the screen and thinking this is Jesus, but it made what I was reading become real. When they're talking about healing people, or the lessons, or the impact, or the inspiration, and all of the things he was doing, when I was seeing it on screen and reading it, it just started to really become real for me. Now, what stood out to me the most, and what resonated with me, that made me feel quite emotional once I read and watched this, was that the unanswered questions were, which a lot of what Christianity is based around, and if these are false, the whole thing is false, right? Is Jesus God? What did Jesus get crucified? Did Jesus rise from the dead? These are like questions that was rolling through my head. Now, there's some things that are very hard to even understand, but these questions are really what Christianity is based around. And if these questions are not, these are not true, if Jesus died on the cross, Because even people that are atheists know that Jesus got crucified, right? But they say that he didn't rise from the dead. Now, if he didn't rise from the dead, then he's not God, and he was just a preacher going around pretending to be God, right? So I needed to understand these in depth. Now, I wasn't going to go, spend years of my life trying to figure all of these things out. So I started to seek out more evidence from different books. And there was a book that I come across, and it's also in a movie format as well, from Lee Strobel, called The Case for Christ. And basically what this guy had done, he was like a news writer. He was like a news writer, and he basically write articles, and his whole job's around collecting evidence and data to build stories and stuff. Now, his wife become a Christian, and then he said he set out for 2 years to basically try to prove Christianity wrong, because he wanted his wife back, because he was someone that liked to drink, a bit of a man, likes doing whatever he likes to do, overindulging in pleasures, and he thought his wife was going to change. So he spent 2 years using all of his journalism skills to go collect all evidence and data from all of the top professors around all of these different things to basically prove Christianity to be wrong. And then after 2 years, he put his hands up and just said, God, you've got me. He couldn't prove that this was not true. Based off all of the evidence that's ever been collected around the resurrection, around Jesus, around his life and everything, he had to put his hands up and say that this is true. And he actually quit his job and he become like a pastor. His name's Lee Strobel. You should check the story out. He's an American guy. But he was just one of many stories that I looked into that give factual evidence, and how much factual evidence there is that Christianity is true, that Jesus is God and Jesus was raised from the dead. And after even going through that, it was building, my strength, my faith was building, my belief was building, but I still didn't believe fully. What made me believe fully, which is the final piece of the puzzle, which is what you need to fully believe in God or Christianity, that you're not going to get from a book, you're not going to get from a video, you're not going to get from a TV series or someone just telling you. You need it yourself, and it's probably the most important thing. But if you're very logical, like I am, you want to collect some evidence first, is faith. I just had to say, look, I've collected all of this data. I can't know for 100% certain it's an absolute fact, because I was not there the day that Jesus, resurrected from the dead and the miracles that he made. I can only hear stories, and I can only believe it to be true based off of them. But I haven't got a video camera. I wasn't there in person. So what it needed was faith. And I wasn't going to get that from any video, any book, any other person. That was just me having to say, you know what? I believe this to be true. And that was like the last piece of the puzzle for me. And if I can believe in something that is unseen, that's just going to give me even more belief in myself and my life and what's possible. Now, I don't believe I'm ever going to be a preacher of God. I'm definitely not going to be going around telling people what they need to do to their life. They need to follow Christianity. They need to believe in Jesus. If they don't, then, their life, or they're going to go to hell, or their life's going to suck. That's just not my message, and that's never been my message when it comes to my coaching either. I don't tell people what to do. I just like to live my life doing the things I like to do, and based off my message, I hope that it helps people, or has inspired people to do better. Because if anyone shoved any of this down my throat 5 years ago, as I said, I would have told you to fuck off, because I just didn't believe it to be true, and it just would not have resonated with me. I thought it was weird. I thought it was out of this world. I just thought it was stupid and silly, right? But by having faith, by looking into it, by connecting God, it's made me finally find peace in myself. It's made me feel more grateful. It's made me trust myself and life and let go sometimes rather than being too controlling. It's improved the relationship with myself. It's improved the relationship with my partner. It's improved the relationship with my daughter. It's made me love more deeply. And just the whole Christian message, in a whole, I know is going to allow me to be a better human being and a better man. Now, I've done thousands of hours of study when it comes to personal development, personal growth, and all of these different types of things. And if I'm honest with you, they all kind of link back to what Christianity tries to teach. And the message is love God. It's love your neighbor. It's stop judging people. It's don't cheat, don't steal. It's don't worship false idols and things that won't make you feel fulfilled, will make you feel unfulfilled. Stop putting too much time, energy and effort into the wrong things, stressing too much, worrying too much, trying to seek external validation. Like All of these things we know are going to bring us unfulfillment. And the Bible and Christianity and Jesus teaches us these lessons and teachings. And just by living by them or trying to do my best to live by them, I know that it's going to make me a better man overall. And that's who I want to be. I want to be a better man for myself. I want to be a better man for others. I want to be a better man for my daughter and for my partner and for my coaching community and my mission. And I feel like this was the final piece of the puzzle that was missing from me. God was missing for me, that I was always trying to seek in other things, and I just couldn't find until I've given myself over to this faith. Now, I'm not perfect. I've still got a long way to go and I'll never have it figured out. But for me personally, it's been life-changing. As I mentioned, I'm not here to preach to anyone. But if you want to be open-minded and you want to know where to start, because you're like, you know what, this sounds like me, or I'm interested in this, or I'd like to know more, but you're a skeptic and you don't know where to start, I'll start on the New Testament. Start reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, if you need any guidance with that, sometimes putting in AI, what does this mean? How can I relate it to me has really been helpful for me. Start watching the Amazon series, The Chosen. As you're reading, start watching. That will bring it to life for you. Read Lee Strobel's Case for Christ and just really see the evidence that was built up around that. Type in YouTube about the resurrection, about Christianity, about are these things true or not? And you're going to find a lot of videos on there, a lot of podcasts that talk about why there's so much evidence for this to be, the evidence for this to be true, Go to church, explore church, go see what that's like for you, if you get a feeling, if you get a connection. And then the last one, just pray for wisdom and guidance. Even if you don't know who you're praying to, maybe just ask God for guidance, whoever God is for you right now. That's what I was doing, asking for wisdom, asking for guidance. And I asked for wisdom and guidance so many times, I believe that it put me on the path of Christianity. But just like I did, just be open-minded, be patient, have faith, collect some evidence, and I believe that your faith will build and potentially could push you towards Christianity.